why I call it, why, oh, sorry. And to touch on what about being called a shoebox poet is because, as I said, writing for over 20 years, I collected all my poetry in a shoebox. And there was a reason why I started doing that because me and this girl started conversing back and forth. She lives in Australia at that time, and that's how we communicate between each other, from time to time. And after the relationship died, I mean, I still wrote poetry, but I kept it in the shoebox. So an elderly gentleman mentioned to me one day, he said, "Hey, you ought to call yourself the shoebox poet." And I just been going with that ever since. And I appreciate it. I'm actually almost 50 years old, so I appreciate you saying I must be in my early 20s. So I appreciate that a lot. But I got a couple of poems I would like to share with you, or all of you. And this poem is for my new book called "And the Universe Said, Hold My Beer." And this poem's called "Your Body." So I do want to say this is a trigger warning for anybody. You may have something in here. I want to make love to you with words written upon a canvas, one that encompasses your body from head to toe. I want to draw lines as they follow the curves of your body. You don't see the symmetry that God or the universe created when he made you. You are perfect, a grand design of a masterpiece. I would spend hours if there was time plotting a course of exploration as I followed the pattern of romance, drawing a meaning of line. All of those words beneath your skin with my fingertips. Circles, squares, triangles, and octagons. You don't believe me? There is symmetry in your curves and imperfections. Let me show you, taste you, show you the meaning of what a fool for mastery of desire can do with some paint, a brush, and a pen, and a canvas of you. I want to paint tattoos upon your skin between the hickeys and the places I paint flowers with my lips upon the tender skin. Can I show you what it's like having sex with a poet as we master the art of desire? And the next poem I have comes from my latest book that I did release. It was back in November. It's called Cosmic Beauty, and it's over on Amazon. And again, this is the last one I'm going to say that there is a trigger warning for. And this poem deals with mental illness. She's my dirty lover, the only constant in my life. She clings to me like a bandage to a wound, the one where you tear away flesh, mixed with hair and blood. Oh, to be rid of her existence, she's a cruel lover and even deviant mistress. You never know when she's lurking until she has you cold in her grasp. She chokes me with her bare hand, squeezing her grip around my neck until I'm unable to speak a word. And she taunts me with her kisses, suffocating me when we French kiss. Her strength is amazing for someone so small, who can inflict so much pain without raising her hand at times. Anxiety is a bitch, who tries to rule my waking dreams with her nightmares features. There are days when I'm free of her torment, and there are nights and moments where she's curled up next to me, lying in the bed that I'm bound before she rides me with a smile and no lube as depression looks on, waiting her turn. This next poem is called Wedding Vows, and this is based off of a word prompt that I entered on Instagram. Wedding vows. Let's take turns passing the pen around. drawing hearts, Cupid arrows. Let's write songs and words, not all at once. Let's not use all the pages within. Leave some for tomorrow and the day after, to the next and so forth. As we write our love story written on the pages of our hearts. Every word, line, and phrase, sentence and conjunction and fragment, let's tell our story in these pages. Of all we have waited and loved, even in the years before we knew our names, all those sleepless nights, tear-stained pillows and lonely times until the day we met, and they turned into time where we knew nothing else but seeing the image of faces before we fell asleep. Let me sign my name on the dotted line of never wavering in loving you, and to keep the embers burning with all the passion my body can give you. And this poem here is called I Am All I Need. I am not going to bleed myself dry for you unless you will do the same for me. It's a yin and yang thing, an ebb and flow of life. It's all right because I am all I need. If you choose not to be here, believe me, I understand. I'd rather be someone else's first choice than the oh well person. Oh well, at least oh well. At least she braves, brushes her teeth, or at least he works. I am so much more than a last choice or a last stop. Foster care until you find a forever home. You're not a rescue, and nor should I. Because I will love you with a ferocity and a pretender isn't worth wasting time on. And this is my last one. And I will say, thank you so much for having the time to be on here and being able to read for you. I laid pieces of myself to rest, just pieces of who I once was, a living ghost of parts. Those were once the equal sum of things. I guess those pieces needed to go because I outgrew them, lost them in a fit of rage or cries over the things that were difficult to walk away from. All that remains of myself as I looked in the mirror to see a person whose broken bits and mangled fragments were left in ruins to be scavenged. That's why I burned them, so people can't use them against me, family, or friends as weapons to destroy everything. I still shed tears for those parts. They were once memories of happiness that I had to let go of. Memories of love I used to know and used to feel and remember. Thank you. And wow. My first book was called Finding Peace Within the Storm. Well, all my books can be found on Amazon.
Yeah. Clarence, we posted about Cosmic Beauty, was it? Yeah, Cosmic Beauty, yes, in the chat, but you might want to, as you have time and you calm down just a little bit, you might want to post a bit more about your books in the chat, but you also need to watch the chat because you're getting a lot of admiring comments and oohing and awing in the chat. I want to thank you for, as Josephine said, for some very personal and powerful poems. The way I say this is often in the case of those early poems that you read, the first few poems that were sensual and obviously love poems, they're so personal that they become universal. And so we really are grateful to you for being brave enough to have written the poems and then sharing enough to bring them and offer them tonight for us to enjoy. So really appreciate that. Do look at the chat and savor it. And we'll try to remember to save it towards the end. I think everyone should be able to do that if you want to save the good comments that have been made about your poems. But we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your kind words. And I will check out the comments.
That'd be great.
And I will post a link in
Yes,
each of the
please
books.
do. Please do. So